Well, new tonight at 5, Memorial Day may be behind us, but the work to support our local veterans continues.
And Northern News Now's Dave Anderson tells us about the American Legion Auxiliary and all of the local projects they have underway right now.
As we take down our Memorial Day flags and stow them away until the 4th of July and/or Veterans Day, the American Legion Auxiliary wants to remind us that veterans need our support 365 days a year. In 1919, just after the horrors of trench warfare ceased, World War I veterans founded the American Legion. At the same time, the American Legion Auxiliary was founded to give non-veterans a way to help those who served. Cindy Matheson of Proctor is an auxiliary member today.
I joined because I really have a passion to serve veterans.
That service includes things like raising money to support the Veterans Home in Silver Bay and groups like 23rd Veteran. The annual Poppy Fund drive dates back to the flowers that grew on the graves of World War I casualties when the guns fell silent. It's so important that full Legion members like Scott Markle helped out recently in Superior.
But the Legion was there to help the auxiliary, and the auxiliary helps the Legion.
And the Legion family helps the community. Coming up on Friday, June 12th at the Bong Veterans Heritage Center, there will be a flag retirement ceremony just before Flag Day. Kelly Kuchera of Duluth is proud to be an auxiliary part of the team.
Oh, very, very proud. We do a lot of good things.
The American Legion family includes the main organization, the Auxiliary, plus they also have Sons of the American Legion, and there is a motorcycle riding group as well. In Duluth, Dave Anderson, Northern News Now.
And the auxiliary is going to be cooking and fundraising this Friday at the Legion Post on Grand Avenue. They're going to be selling French dips, sandwiches, and fries from 5 to 6:30 that night.